always been one of the most efficient ways to transmit potentially deadly viruses.
Known as COVID-19, rapidly spread.
When wild animals from different parts of the world are held in close proximity with weakened immune systems due to stress,
will China finally be forced to take the necessary steps? Madam Secretary General, the floor is yours.
By IFA and Freeland on preventing pandemics.
I don't want to be the last chief to enjoy all of this.
COVID-19 has changed our world. The way we live, our economy, our health systems, everything. COVID-19 will not be forgotten. To make sure that we never go through this again, we need to understand why it happened. COVID-19 and other zoonotic outbreaks were transmitted to people from wild animals that were taken from or pushed out of their natural environment. Some transmitted the virus directly to people, while others transmitted it through domesticated animals. And this is not the first time. SIV jumped from a primate to a human and became HIV. SARS jumped from a civet being sold on a menu. MERS from a camel. Bird flu jumped from wild birds. Ebola from bats. There are countless other viruses waiting to be unleashed if we don't change our relationship with nature. And the next outbreak could hit us much harder. Experts agree, rising wildlife trade, industrial farming, and dwindling wilderness have brought people into closer, unnatural contact with wild and captive-bred animals. We can prevent more pandemics by addressing their root causes, and that is exactly what our campaign, End Pandemics, is doing. End Pandemics has grown into a global campaign with over 70 organizations from every corner of the world. We are actively implementing a 4-part plan. We're training frontline protectors of nature across the globe. We are helping officers identify and stop trafficking of wild animals and their viruses across borders. We are helping impoverished communities adopt sustainable livelihoods. And we are educating youth and the public to stop buying and selling wild animals and to support the closing of commercial wildlife markets. And we are making progress. Lawmakers have invited us to help strengthen environmental regulations. Global media have transmitted our message to over 700 million people. And now corporations are starting to get involved, sponsoring us and sharing our message. The vaccine for COVID-19 may not work against the next virus, Stimulus packages will amount to expensive band-aids that need frequent changing if we do not address the root causes. Join us. With your support, we can prevent pandemics because our lives and economies depend on it. Good evening from Bangkok. Welcome to the Freeland Film Festival Beyond Pandemics. I'm Steve Gelstra. I'm the founder of Freeland. I'm also a board member of the Foreign Correspondents Club of Thailand. That's where we are right now. This is being broadcast from the FCCT, but also our fest is happening virtually on a platform around the world. Freeland is a civil society organization that strives for a world free of wildlife trafficking and human slavery. We're also co-leading this global campaign you just saw with 80 other organizations now called End Pandemics, which aims to prevent more outbreaks like COVID-19 by changing our relationship with nature. We hold at least one film festival a year to support various campaigns because we recognize that good storytelling is really key to positive change. COVID-19 and its various mutations, I think, is like cancer. We are the body, and like cancer, the body doesn't recognize the threat, nor do we recognize where it came from. So like cancer, it gets out of control while we treat the symptoms and not the cause. In cancer treatment, practitioners are now sometimes using something called immunotherapy, teaching the body to recognize cancer as a threat. I think End Pandemics, our campaign, is like immunotherapy. We're trying to wake up the body, the world in this case, to the threat we face, to the threat we created, and show us how we can rid it from our collective body. COVID-19 is a zoonotic outbreak, a pandemic that, like others before it, well, we know they're drivers: wildlife trade, destruction of wild habitat, and industrial level farming. So we know the solutions: stop wildlife trade, stop destroying nature and protect it, and reform farming to make it healthier, more compassionate, and sustainable. Collectively, these solutions are called the so-called One Health approach, but that can get quite technical. In fact, this whole pandemic discussion has been dominated by scientists and politicians. We need scientists, but we also need communicators. We need storytellers who can light up the fog and darkness and help us see the way forward, who inspire us to see that there is hope. And that's what the Freeland Film Festival is. It's a platform for stories that inspire hope for our planet and people. This fest is called Beyond Pandemics because we hope it inspires and informs us to do just that, get beyond pandemics. I want to thank a few people, actually more than just a few, but and some are hopefully watching through Facebook Live over in the States where it's a bit early. Rich, Ev, Dawn, Tom, Marcella. We've got Mix, Thum, Book, Fern, Simona, Luis, Andre, Phil and Kimberly, the FCCT, of course, Asia Works, B. Grimm, Heather, Niall, Pei, Jenny, Colin and Farhan, Ying, Jen, and Jane Seymour, who joined us last week. But to tell us about these movies, including this amazing opener, is somebody I really want to thank more than anybody. Standing right next to me here is our film festival producer for this event, Molly Farrell, who's been doing the work of many people, is a filmmaker herself, great in front of the camera, behind it, a great storyteller, and adding to this cause. Molly.
Thank you, Steve. Well, we're really excited to have you guys here for the beginning of the festival, for our opening night, and Hopefully we'll have a lot of people joining us online as well for the virtual version of the festival. I think that these 20 films that our team has selected are really impactful films. They're films that highlight wildlife trade issues, wildlife conservation stories that can inspire us, help us learn more about what's happening, sustainable agriculture, pandemic-related stories, and some of them help us understand how we can prevent pandemics in the future by understanding the root causes and addressing the root causes. And that's what our film tonight is about. A Grain of Sand in the Machine is by director Alain Delou, and he's a great director. The film discusses what the pandemic has revealed about our world and systems and what we can learn from it to make our world a better place. And it goes through a lot of different topics. I'll let the film speak for itself, but it's really interesting, and hopefully it will lead to a really interesting discussion with the film director, who will be joining us for a Q&A after the film screening. So we hope everyone on Facebook who's watching this will tune in to the Q&A, and anyone who's watching online can watch 18 of these 20 films on our online platform. You can go to the Freeland website, freeland.org, to figure out how to buy your pass and watch those 18 films. There's 5 feature films online and a bunch of short and medium length films as well. And we'll have 6 feature films here at the FCCT tonight and tomorrow and the next day. So Friday and Saturday will be starting at 12 and ending at 9 or 9:30 at night. So please come, join us, spread the word, and if you're online, watch them online. There's some really interesting stories, and we hope they inspire you and help you make an impact and make a change in this world that we're living in right now. Thank you so much. Enjoy the film, and please join us for the Q&A after.
Okay, Molly, so let's roll them.